ZenlessZoneZero patch 2.3's livestream has just wrapped up, and this was both a crazy exciting and crazy different stream. To start, players already have plenty to look forward to reward-wise, with Manato being free for everyone alongside his new white-haired skin that you unlock for free as well just by completing the main story. On top of this, Vivian's brand new swimsuit skin was also revealed during the showcase, obtainable after 180 pulls, with bonus rewards given along the way as well. With all of this in mind, today I'll be breaking down everything you might have missed from today's live stream, and so if you enjoyed or learned something from today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But first, a word from today's sponsor. If you're someone who spends often in ZenlessZoneZero, you know how fast the costs can pile up. The good news though is that there's another way to recharge so that you can pull, and that's through Lootbar. Lootbar is a top-up platform that supports titles like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and ZenlessZoneZero, and there's lots to love about it. It's easy to navigate, the setup mirrors the in-game shop, and as a result, everything feels very familiar. Once you head into the ZenlessZoneZero section, however, you'll immediately see the difference here. Lootbar lets you recharge for up to 23% less than the standard in-game prices. Now, this saving might seem small at first, but when you recharge regularly, these start to add up quickly. And for new users, there's an additional 10% discount coupon waiting for you, making that first purchase even better. Now, Lootbar isn't just about lower prices either, it's also something used by a lot of the community. To add to this, they've also partnered with other creators on YouTube too, and plus, they also provide 7 days of after-sales support, cover 5% tax. Now, in terms of the purchase process, this is pretty straightforward. Just input your account ID, select the pack you want, and hit confirm. Orders are then delivered fast, typically in under 30 minutes, and this will then allow you to get back into the game without waiting. So if you're planning to recharge in ZenlessZoneZero, Lootbar is the way to go. It's safe, affordable, and efficient, so click the link now in the comments or description to start saving. And remember, new users will get a 10% off coupon, so don't wait, try Lootbar today. Thanks again to Lootbar for sponsoring today's video though. To start things off though, we began with a story recap beginning with Sarah being mentioned early, as she's been a major force in the recent story as of late. To add to this, we were introduced to a trailer where we saw a new horror location with dream/miasma based environments with cracks, mist, and unsettling sights. Spook Shack for this location has also continued its search for Lemian urban legends, and with this we'll be looking for things like missing workers, mind-reading monsters, and things of this nature. The new story arc also focuses on the Lumite ore, the haunted runes, gigantic miasmic flowers, and other individuals vanishing, but in general this story is about a mysterious force that ties everything together, with the creator and Sarah's reappearance being significant. In terms of what we were teased and shown though, we saw Yidhari chained by miasma, drowning scenes, and the proxies venturing into dreams in order to save their friends. Now let's talk about the new characters that were introduced though. Lucia, the Night Emissary and Ether support, was introduced first and tied to the Night Watcher clan, which is something we'll probably learn more about later in the story. In terms of her kit, her attacks are Ether/laser-like, and she summons ethereals to command and attack for her. On a side note, her new agent story will also explain her bond with ethereals and her fascination with them, as shown by her encyclopedia. But now let's actually talk about her gameplay kit. From what limited information and from my understanding of what they've shown, Lucia builds dream points to then enter the dream state, with this state also transforming her attacks into harmony damage. While in this state, she also provides aftershocks while off field and increases team HP, and overall her role seems very tuned towards sheer force and rupture, as she grants squad-wide sheer force increases. Her ultimate has her ride on an ethereal beast to deal massive AoE, and leaves behind a healing halo on the ground that you can heal from. But in terms of who she'll be paired with, it seems that they're designing her to be strong specifically with rupture/stun allies, applying Darkbreaker and crit damage boosts if you end up pairing the two together. Now in terms of design, however, it also appears as though she's being designated as an ether support agent who heals, buffs, and deals hybrid damage. But then we were introduced to Yidhari, another member of Spook Shack, who also happens to be ice and a rupture character. In terms of character and design, she's a lone wolf, soft-spoken, and has a massive hammer with octopus-like tentacles, and her agent story involves her entering a coma, forcing proxies to dive specifically into her dreams in order to figure out what's going on. Now gameplay-wise, she has HP scaling damage and deals more damage when her HP is lower, but in addition to this, because she's a rupture character, she ignores enemy defense, gains sheer force from HP, and her tentacles can even counterattack for her. Now you might be curious about the fact that she consumes her health and how she can even sustain this, but worry not, as she has self-healing baked into her abilities, and she also has access to Ether Veil, which is something that we also saw from Lucia. Now in terms of her ultimate, this is just a massive AoE ice smash, but overall her design and kit revolves around being a massive Beyblade and spinning character, and in Lost Void this fantasy is strengthened even more, with her increasing the duration that she can spin, which really makes her look like a tornado. Next we were introduced to Manato, the fire rupture agent, and initially we saw him with a white-haired variation, which I wasn't sure if that was him or another character or his dad or something, but as we saw soon after, after, and based on the teasing where we're going to see characters in the past, this is just Manato from the past or something along those lines. Now gameplay wise, he's another HP based character, and with him being a fire rupture agent, his HP based fire damage also scales with sheer force. Now his special / EX special will consume HP but also grant crit damage and healing, and he can gain his special resource through a number of ways. However, his assist and assist follow-up where you can spam his basic attack to continue pummeling the ground looks honestly really funny. Now in terms of his additional ability, he activates alongside a stun and support character, and this will give him stacks which he can then use for HP restoration. With him being a DPS, his ultimate is a massive fire AoE explosion meant for dealing massive damage, but honestly his cool guys don't look at explosions ultimate is a pretty aura farming / huge highlight of the showcase. Now let's talk about the banners and reruns for this patch. The first half will be Lucia with Manato on her banner, and the second half will be Yidhari. Now in terms of the rerun, however, the first half will be Vivian, which is appropriate because of her swimsuit skin, but the second half will be Jafufu, which also makes sense since Yidhari of course is a rupture character, and we'll also have Lucia, which I'd imagine is probably going to be the best team for Yidhari since both characters synergize pretty well with rupture. Now in terms of signatures, Lucia's weapon glows with void aura, and Yidhari's hammer and tentacle designs both glow blue. Now in terms of skins and cosmetics, Vivian's swimsuit skin was also showcased, with things like her umbrella changing, but this is unlockable at 180 pulls, with milestones and other rewards being given alongside the way while you're getting to this benchmark. Now Manato, as previously mentioned again, will be getting a free skin for completing the main story, where he turns white-haired, but overall, having access to new skins is always welcome. Now the animated backgrounds for all agents were also revealed, which were honestly pretty cool, but then we were introduced to new events and game modes. The newest and most unique event is When Dreams Remain Unfinished, in turn-based battles with QuickTime event mechanics, and of course the reward for this is Manato just for free. To add to this, we're being given another mode in Yunquei Summit, and this is a new score-based combat and story system. This features an easy mode where trial characters are allowed, and hard mode where you can only use your own characters, but unlike some of the other activities, this specific mode has multiple endings depending on your story mode choices. However, as a great side note, all of your choices and endings will be replayable, each also having unique rewards. Now to add to this, we also saw a photo / snapshot event returning with upgraded freeze frames, new frames to decorate your screenshots with, and shareable aesthetics, but then we were shown another dialogue / social event with the fortune telling stall event, and of course another battery / energy event, which is always nice for free rewards. Now we also saw a major teaser for not just Yidhari, Lucia, and Manato, but we also saw a very suggestive Yidhari teaser coming in the future, which looks absolutely crazy by the way. But in addition to this, we were also teased new characters including Zhuo, Master Ban Yu, Dialin or Dialin, I'm not sure how to say her name, and an elder sister who will join us in the future. All of these characters look crazy. Next, we saw improvements to the quality of life and system updates, and with this we saw drive disk upgrades where we now have recommended substats being highlighted and improved filtering. To add to this, energy use will now have batteries automatically calculating how many you need, and the special training plan has also been upgraded visually for tracking. They also improved the UI in terms of red dot anxiety, as they don't want so many red dots, and now you'll have a new specific label that can auto clear more easily. And to add to this, they also improved the compendium, which now grants you direct access to trust events if you have it. Now in terms of the free mode, they've also made tweaks so that activities can be completed or activated more easily, but to top things off, they increased the preset team configuration to a total of 20 slots. Now in terms of additional rewards, freebies, and other details, the redemption code for today's live stream is Lucia 1015, which is valid until October 1st, and in addition to the expected 10 free pulls for this patch, they're also giving 600 polychromes in this version, with said rewards being included through things like a 7-day login and just for logging on in general. Now in addition to this, they also announced ZenlessZoneZero Ambi's buff, which honestly looks pretty crazy in terms of basic attack animations being improved, with additional blades or attacks flying and spinning around her. But to add to this, they also optimized the new deadly assault, where you now have a badge that tracks how many deadly assaults you've cleared, how many S ranks that you've gotten from Shield defense, and other exclusive badges, which is honestly pretty huge for those of you that care. But finally guys, they announced that patch 2.3 is going to launch on October 15th, and as usual, there of course will be a double drop event in said version. That's going to be it for today's video though guys. Honestly, there was a huge amount of announcements and reveals for today's patch. We haven't seen this jam-packed of a patch in quite a while, so I'm quite happy with the live stream and update as a whole. And honestly, just in terms of how many free goodies that we've been given, Zenless did solid. Great work team. Thanks for watching though guys, I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.